So good evening everyone, thank you for joining. For those who join in on a live with us for the first time, let us first introduce ourselves. So I am Kurt.
Hi, I'm Stefan. Nice to meet you all.
And we are the founders of the independent perfumery Smell Stories in Brussels. So if this is the first time you tuned in, just know that we have two previous interviews ready for you on our YouTube channel and our website, where we talked with Nick Stewart from Gallivant and Antonio Gardoni from Bog Profumo, so you can still watch those if you've missed them. But today, of course, we will talk with have a new interview, and we will talk today with Daniel Plettenberg from the independent brand and the very unconventional brand Atelier PMP. And I see he already joined in, so I will invite him to see if he can. I'm just waiting for his reply.
Yes,
there he is.
Wonderful.
Hi Daniel, how are you?
I'm very fine. I'm very good. How are you?
Fine, great. It's great to see you.
Great to be on your show.
Some kind of a show, yeah. We try to make it pleasant and funny sometimes, and interesting as well, because we would like to learn from you as well this evening. So welcome to the show. I've already introduced ourselves. I will maybe introduce you. So you are Daniel Plettenberg, and together with Stefanie Meyer, you have founded the perfume brand Atelier PMP in 2012, I think, 2012, 2013. And you describe yourself as, you're not only a perfumer or owner of a perfume brand, you are also a consultant, you are an inventor, you are a philosopher, you are a brand maker, and you are a drag queen at times, so a busy person.
Absolutely, yes. I do a lot of things, and somehow it's all about creativity in its many different forms. So yes, I do my drag shows, I do philosophy, and 2012 I met Stefanie Meyer. She has a background in punk. She has a punk fashion label, and she came to me. We met, and we had this idea to create a wonderful perfume. So yes, that's what we did, and so that's how the whole story started.
Okay.
And from the very beginning, it was interesting for us, or important for us, when we looked at the perfume market back then. It was in a way quite boring to see that all the perfumes, or the perfume concepts, so to say, were all very one-dimensional. So it was very much about beautiful bodies, sexy bodies, number one, about the ingredients like flowers, okay, and the names of some celebrities. And that was all the concepts we had. And we thought that is very boring, because when you put on a perfume, you do a little bit of magic. We all know how exciting the transformative power of a perfume is. Like when you put your perfume on, you feel different, you go into a different world. So we decided to use this power, this transformative power, to connect perfume with a philosophical idea or with a political attitude.
Yeah.
And so all our perfumes have a special twist, that the name, the artists we are working with are always having that special idea to present something more than just a perfume.
Okay.
And that's why we use special names and special artists to work with. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and indeed, the slogan of the brand is it's not just about the fragrance, but it's really about the idea behind it. So if you buy a perfume by Atelier PMP, you don't just buy fragrance. You buy a whole concept or a whole idea or a message. Can I see that?
Absolutely. I mean, just a second, we have here our perfume, Upsala Anti-Anti,
Yes.
and Upsala, this,
Yes.
okay, you have it there as well. And this whole idea started when we saw that in America, ultra-conservative people were elected, that suddenly in Eastern Europe, very conservative ideas took place that were all anti-human and anti-minorities and anti-whatever. So we thought, okay, we want to have the anti-anti, which is open the mind, be positive to the people. And our idea is if you take that perfume, you spray a little bit of open-mindedness on yourself, that you spray a little bit of, yeah, every morning. And if it's just 1 second, you have this idea of, okay, let's see what exciting people I might meet today. So that was a little bit the idea.
Trying it out.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, but exactly that's the idea, because yeah, we have this transformative moment in the morning when we put on our perfume. It changes the mood. It can do so much, or when we go out in the evening. Mm-hmm. So our idea was to use that and to establish a thought, an idea, a behavior, an attitude.
Okay. So you really believe that perfume can really make a difference then in society?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we have learned that every item, every product at the moment in this world can change how people see the world. It is strange times. We lost religion, we lost a lot of values, and we know that products are now can do something. Yeah, why not having a responsibility to spread an idea, to go beyond the obvious. Okay. So for us, perfume is more like a distillation of an idea into a substance. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if it smells wonderful, that is the most important, we all know. Yeah. But if it also has a message, then we love it.
Okay, great. Well, maybe start then with the first perfume that you ever launched. So in 2012 or 13, I think, was the Dreckig Bleiben.
Exactly. Yes.
First. That's how it all started, the brand. Did you at that time already have the vision to launch a bigger brand with more perfumes, or was it just like, we'll see what happens, or?
Even less than that. I mean, I met Stephanie and she is a fantastic creative person. So our idea was to do something like, I don't know, 999 bottles of Dreckig Bleiben and do that as a art project. And we had no money back then. We had no idea how to make a perfume. The only idea I had was, if we do a perfume that's called Dreckig Bleiben, and the name means stay dirty in German, we need one of the best perfume makers in the world. If not, it becomes a joke. Yeah. So being totally naive, we traveled to Paris, we knocked on the doors of the 10 top perfume makers in the world and said, we have this idea, we want to make a punk perfume and it's called Stay Dirty, Dreckig Bleiben. These are the ideas how it could smell. And to our surprise, a lot of these top perfumers said, wow, we think that's interesting, we would like to do that. And that was really amazing to see, wow, it can happen. And then we told them, by the way, we have no money at all. And still they said, okay, let's do that. We are so interested in this concept. So we decided to work with Mark Buxton. He back then worked so much for Comme des Garçons, but also for the big names like Cartier and Burberry. He had this very significant signature, how he creates a perfume. And Dreckig Bleiben is really, really outstanding. It is very smoky, and it takes a long travel or voyage on skin. It changes dramatically. It starts with a sometimes even cold gray smoke, but then it changes into a wonderful orange, woody vanilla that comes close to rums. Could be a rum barrel.
Okay.
And what's interesting with Dreckig Bleiben, it is very different on each skin. It is one of the perfumes. You have to try it. Even if you like it on another person, it might be that it's not working on your skin, but it is really complex. It's really deep. It is long lasting. It lasts forever. And it is one of these perfumes. We like it that it's quite edgy. It is something I would wear more for a gallery opening or something like that. It's not every day, but I love the edginess of that perfume.
Okay. Yeah, and the name itself was already a clear message, because as you say, perfume is more about luxury and glamour, and then you come up with this Stay Dirty perfume. So that was really a clear message. So how was this? What were the reactions? Because the perfume business is still quite a closed and mysterious and special industry. So suddenly, then you appear in it. So what happened?
That was totally interesting, because we started advertising or talking about this perfume, not in Germany, not in Europe. We started to talk about it in New York and in Japan. And we talked that there is something like a punk perfume coming from Mark Buxton, together with a strange creation team. And so we advertised it in Japan and in New York. And then suddenly the Vogue in New York was asking the Vogue in Germany, what's happening there? And suddenly it became really, really interesting for so many people. And it was, to enter the market, it was really, really by accident. It wasn't planned at all, but it was really clever to do something that is so different to the existing perfume market. So one of the typical things we hear with Dreckig Bleiben is that people say, usually I don't wear a perfume, but I wear this one. So it is very much for people who usually don't go for a perfume, or think perfume is not my thing. So it is really for people who like it edgy, special, different, who usually don't wear perfume. So yeah, that's how it evolved.
Yeah, okay. And being a brand based in Hamburg, in Germany, with a perfume with a German name, which a lot of our customers have difficulties to pronounce, was that a big disadvantage? Because it's more fashionable if you say made in France and based in Paris, or is this an advantage?
I mean, if you look on it at the back of a perfume, we always tell the people that the perfumes are made in Grasse in France. It is the capital of perfume making. We have a wonderful partner down there. They're doing exquisite work. It's really amazing. They buy amazing ingredients. So the quality is coming from France. But at the same time, we wanted to do something different and something special. So for us, it was an advantage to say it's coming from Germany, it's coming from Hamburg. There is no one else in Hamburg doing perfume back then. Today it's different. Today we have 2-3 other people who are doing perfumes now here, but we were the first. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, perfect. Maybe we can switch to another creation. Well, two, in fact, which is also quite peculiar. Is in 2018, EMPA and Utopia were launched.
Yep.
Again, with a clear message: empathy, Utopia. So very straightforward, but very clear. And the special thing about it is that together they form communism.
Absolutely.
So those two perfumes are completely different. And you can wear them alone, but you can also combine them and create like a third perfume.
Absolutely. So first about the concept. I mean, for us, it was interesting at that point to understand that at the moment there are not many positive utopias. We have a lot of dystopia. We see a lot how terrible the world at the moment is. And for us, it was so important to say, okay, let's talk about a positive utopia. But that only works together with empathy. So that was how this idea was created, to talk about utopia and empathy. And we also did that together with Mark Buxton and asked him, it would be so nice to have two individual perfumes, very different, but somehow they work together and create something new. Yeah. And that is exactly what's happening. So EMPA, I think, is interesting because for me, it is a very crystal clear orange sandalwood. It is very down the line, down the street. It's beautifully done. The ingredients are amazing, but the composition itself is not that difficult. It is really that you say, okay, it's orange and sandalwood, and that's what they talk about. But because of the quality of the ingredients, it is amazing. And Utopia is what we call our green rebel, our green punk. And the inspiration for Utopia was these spring mornings when you go into the woods in the early spring and you break fresh or you take fresh leaves and they're really, really bitter green.
Okay.
So this Utopia has a lot of absinthe in it and green grass and the green part of the carrots. So it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is full of energy, very edgy, very dynamic. In a funny way, it is a eau de cologne, but in a punk version, I would call it. So it's fresh, energizing, super green. And if you combine it, and that's something I really love, with this wonderful orangey sandalwood thing, really something happens. And it reminds me, because it becomes really woody warm, to my surprise. You have the fruity orange, you have the green punk, and it becomes something woody warm that is very modern and very gentleman-like. So
it's more than 1 + 1.
Exactly, absolutely. And you can still, of course, tune it. You can say, okay, this morning I need a little bit more green energy, or the other morning I want to have a little bit more orange sympathy or empathy. So it was the idea that you can really play with perfume and make it your own perfume. So that is Empatopia and Combinism, and we really like it how it came out. Yeah,
which is great. Yeah, and indeed Utopia is quite rebellious and quite punky. I always see the color purple when I see it, because I link it with maybe punk and on the edge. Because it has this bit of rhubarb and this bit of raspberries in it, so it also has this fruitiness around it.
Absolutely, it's the fruitiness of rhubarb without sugar.
So
it stays bitter and
exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. I've also had the comment that it smells like a joint.
Yes, which is true. There is a certain marijuana accord in it. So there is a little bit of that in it.
So if you look at the brand and if you look at the perfume industry, I think it's more or less about 20 years ago when you saw the first, let's call it, niche perfume brands popping up, doing something different than the more traditional brand or the more commercial brands. Atelier PMP was founded in 2012, so somewhere where there were already more independent brands and more niche brands popping up. When we opened our store, we did some research. We found hundreds of smaller brands all over the world. How did you see this landscape evolve, and how do you think it will evolve in the future?
Oh, that's really a very interesting question. When we started in 2012, I remember we went to the one niche perfume store in Hamburg, Harald Lubner, a fantastic store, and they had few perfumes there and some perfumes there. Now they have hundreds, if not thousands, of different perfumes. So the niche market really exploded. Back then, when we started with Dreckig bleiben, we could write to bloggers and say, there's something new coming. Do you want to talk about it? And bloggers were happy to do that. This all has changed. When we bring out a new perfume, we really have to fight for space in the perfume stores, even in the niche perfume stores, because there are now so many brands. Suddenly, there's a lot of money in there. So we are really a very small company, to say just 2 people, and we're just doing it more like a hobby, like a passion thing. We earn our money with our other businesses. To see that suddenly the daughter or the wife of a multimillionaire, billionaire is coming on the market with 10 perfumes. They call it niche perfume, and she has all the money to bring it out. And you think, yeah, but that's not really the idea of niche perfume. At the same time, what I really love is that with more brands, more creativity is coming. So that is really great, that suddenly a lot of new scents are coming up, new ingredients are valued. And that is really amazing, because that is also helping our creativity to think broader and do more stuff. So that's a positive side of that. But I think we possibly might see a separation between the mainstream niche market and the niche market. Like there will be always brands that are really special, that try to do something really different, that don't have the big power, but the creativity to do something very different. And I hope that this will survive, and that this will still be the power of niche. Because we see that people want to have niche perfumes, that they like the creativity, that they like the fact that they smell differently. I just talked to one of our customers just recently, and she said, when I'm asked what kind of perfume I'm wearing, I never tell the name, because I want to keep it for myself. It is my perfume I discovered. And I love that. I think that's really, really interesting and cool. Yeah,
because you see a lot of the niche brands that were the first are now being taken over by bigger companies like Estee Lauder and L'Oreal, and so you see a lot of changes coming up, and I think the bigger brands are also watching what is happening and trying to catch up with it, with these new brands. So it's quite a difficult market.
It has become difficult, but at the same time, I think for me it's interesting. I still can smell and see creativity. So suddenly there's somebody on the market, and they come up and they just have one perfume, but you have the feeling, I smelled that 10 times before. Then, to be honest, you can do that, but there's no real reason for doing that. We try to have very, of course, we need to earn money as well. So we have perfumes that are pleasers, but we also always try to have perfumes that are edgy, special, and different. And once again, for example, with the Utopia, you can have the edginess, but you also can have the pleasing moment, and you bring it together. So it is your creativity to make it work.
Okay. Do you think that there are too many perfumes being launched every year, or?
Well, I mean, this is a general problem, as we all know. If you go to a mainstream perfume store, there are, I don't know how many thousand different bottles and variants. I mean, if you do your calculation, I mean, in a store like yours, I would guess that you have 100 different or 200 different varieties. And if you have 20 people coming to your store per day, it's a chance of 1 to 10 that somebody's taking my bottle of perfume. You know what I mean? So it has become difficult to talk to the end consumers to make the perfume experienceable. So I think in future we need to think about new ideas how people might experience perfumes. Also, in times of Corona, it becomes more and more difficult to go to a shop. So I think you did something very interesting with these boxes where people can discover perfumes. We think about things like that as well, that we offer the people chances to explore our perfumes at home and have a calm situation, think about it, experiment with them, because we also know that people are, when they go to the shops, they are very often stressed, they don't have the time, and it's much nicer to explore a perfume at home.
Yeah, exactly.
But back to the question, are there too many perfumes? In a way, no. I mean, the world of perfume is endlessly. I mean, this is really one of the most exciting qualities of perfumes, that there is no end in creativity when it comes to perfumes.
Yes.
Every year, thousands of new ingredients are found in the industry, so that new trends are evolving, new perfumes are coming up, and we love that. That's really wonderful. At the same time, I think it is our responsibility, yours as vendors and we as producers, to keep the creativity alive and to show the people and to educate also our clients and customers, to tell them a good perfume doesn't have to be perfect in the first second. It has to be perfect in minute 2 or 5. And a good perfume needs a chance to evolve and to grow over time. Things like that. But to be honest, I see so many wonderful customers and consumers who really like to experiment, who are really open, that I'm not scared at the moment. It's more like we have to find new ways and new creativities, but that's why we're here. I mean, that's what we do.
Okay, good. Yeah. Maybe let's talk about the last 2 perfumes that we have released this year.
Yes.
On and Geschöpf.
Yes.
German name. We have to explain it quite often to our customers what it means. To me, it seems like you really have a special sense to capture the zeitgeist and to do something with it. It's like you release a perfume and then 2 weeks later there's this Black Lives Matter movement which really relates to this perfume, in my opinion. So do you have a special sense to see what's going on in the world? Or?
I mean, this is really, and that's something I love about my creative partner and business partner, Stephanie Meyer. When we love to sit down and before we start with a perfume, we talk about the ideas we have at that very moment, what's really in the air, the topics that are in the air. And with Geschöpf, we just realized that like in Eastern Europe, so many LGBTIQ people, trans people really had massive problems. At the same time, I mean, I'm a strong guy. I know body positivity is an important topic. I see how many people are discriminated because of their body. So we talked about this idea that every person has their own right to define themselves, how they look, how they want to live their lives. And we found this very old German word. It's really like a medieval word, Geschöpf. And Geschöpf basically says nothing else but creature. So the idea is every person has the right to be their own creation and become their own creation. But also what is really nice about the word Geschöpf, it is an old German word for taking water out of something. So creating something through a liquid, through water. So we thought that is a nice twist of Geschöpf to say, okay, there's a creation through a liquid. Just with spraying it onto you, you get the allowance to be who you are and who you want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. We didn't foresee the Black Lives Matter movement or things like that. But I think it is very much in the air at the moment that people do say, hey, we have to have a close look on not just the mainstream, but also all the people who are not the mainstream, the marginalized people, and to take care of them. I mean, that's a responsibility of society. And even though there are a lot of, forgive my French, but assholes out there, political, really horrible people, we want to remind the people that we have to take care of that. And it's once again this idea: spray it on, take this energy, take the energy that says you can be your own creation and your own personality and whatever. Yeah.
Okay. And do you then not get a lot of negative reactions as well? Because it can be controversial. You have people that are very much in favor, and probably also people that say, that's not okay. That's too.
But I mean, I think today, in these times, it is so important to take a standpoint and to be really passionate about your political ambition. And I don't want to say you have to go this way or that way, but what I really want to say is it is important that we take care about the many people that form a society. We cannot afford to lose talents, to lose lives. I mean, we know how many trans people are killed, how many young LGBT people killing themselves. We cannot afford to lose all this talent, all this power. So that's the only message we have. And it might be controversial, but for us, we think we want to represent a value, a moral value that's more important than selling 10 more bottles of perfume. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's really a brand with a mission. You're on a mission.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the beauty of what I like is a perfume brand can do that. I mean, as I said before, for us, perfume is a little bit like a distillation of these ideas into a liquid. And that's something I really like as an idea. Yeah.
Okay. So you launched both perfumes at the same time, more or less, I think?
Yes, exactly. The second perfume, let me just grab it. Oops, is On.
Yeah.
And On is a little bit of an accident, so to say. We wanted to bring out Geschöpf, and we were in Grasse with our producers, and we had this very old recipe for this, not very old, it is 20 years old, the recipe for On. It was a very, very famous perfume. It was, Luca Turin called it one of the best perfumes ever made in 10 years ago. And we had this recipe, and we weren't sure if we shall bring it out again or not, if it should be something we should work with or not. And then the guys at our perfume making laboratory, they said, bring it out together with Geschöpf. We can make just a little bunch of that perfume, and it is not a problem. Let's do it, and let's see whether people like it. And I think it's very interesting because it is very different compared to the other perfumes we have. It is possibly the most delicate, the most refined one. It's much more subtle, but it is really
very fresh as well. It's really fresh and clean and spark. Yeah.
Absolutely. At this, it's fresh and clean, but in a very herbal, woody way.
Yeah.
So somehow I always see a lot of brown, woody colors when I smell it. It's not a freshness that comes from green and citrus. So we created this. The main ingredients here is also a marijuana accord, followed by pepper. Let me see, there was something else, pepper, marijuana,
Basil.
basil, yes, exactly, basil. and incense.
Yeah.
And even though we have all these quite heavy, dark ingredients, it is pretty energetic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But fun fact, this is the perfume we have with most ingredients. So here it is much more about really like playing chess. When Mark Buxton told us how he composed this perfume, it's really like really working hard to make it work. And I think you can smell it because it has so many layers, although it is quite subtle and the thing. Very different to Geschöpf, for example, where we said we want to have something that is understandable within the first second. It is automatically there. It is this very modern interpretation of a fig together with some green, fresh accords in it, some herbal accords in it. And so Geschöpf is really high energy, into the face, going out, let's do party, while On is really, oops, where do we have it? Here we have it. On is much more subtle, everyday. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Are there any questions of our viewers?
Well, is there questions? Yes.
Yeah, we did not see anything coming in yet.
Not yet. Okay, but if you have questions, I'm very happy to answer them.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me see. Another perfume we did, which I really like, is Concrete Flower.
Yes.
Concrete Flower is quite interesting. We did a very modern interpretation of a eau de cologne as well, with Asian herbs. Then these Asian herbs like coriander, cilantro, ginger, they slowly melt into herbs de la Provence. So you have sage and rosemary and thyme. And this is combined with cold stone and very subtle flowers. And this combination is I think it's one of the most modern perfumes we have. I think it is like a very modern building. It's like a glass and steel building.
But
still.
And the idea behind it, that it's like the city with still some green in it and some art everywhere and graffiti, is really well translated into a fragrance for me, because it's, you just smell it, you can see some artworks or some graffiti and some herb somewhere in the street. So it's really this kind of feeling you get. Yeah.
So yeah, Concrete Flower. And I know many people say, okay, Concrete Flower, is that a flower perfume? No, it's not a flower perfume. The whole concept here was, how can we make the gray of the city flourish, and how can we make the concrete more livable for the people?
We just had a question, and somebody asked, where did you find all your inspiration?
That's a good one, because it is really funny. When I work together with Stephanie, my business partner, we bring out our perfume, and then it takes a while that we are just busy in promoting the perfume and doing it. And after a while, we realize that we have to talk about a new topic, and somehow it's coming up. It could be whatever happens in society at that point. And then we find a topic like, for example, with Geschöpf, the whole idea was body positivity, being real to yourself, acknowledging the differences of people. And the difficult process for us is then to transform that into a concept and a name. And that can take a week, a month, or even a year. Sometimes it takes quite long to find the right word, the right name, or artist to work with. So, for example, Florian Hetz is a Berlin and Los Angeles-based photographer. He took some photos for the Geschöpf campaign, and we love it. He took photos of body parts, and the color for me, the color of the Geschöpf photos and the Geschöpf perfume go perfectly together. So it also has the wonderful bluish notes of the fig, but also the energy of the brown woody tones. And we love how he translated our perfume in photos. So this is also always a process. And what I really like is, back to the question of creation or creativity, inspiration, we have an idea, what we want to say, we give this idea to our perfume maker, David Shears or Mark Buxton, and they have their own creativity. So what they finally do is very often quite different from what we expected it to be, but usually much better than what we thought. And the same with a photographer, for example, that we have an idea that they could do some photos, and what comes out is much better than we thought. So we understand ourselves like a crystallization point. So we catch this idea that is somewhere, we give it to other creative artists, and then suddenly something comes together. And for us, that's always magic. It is really funny that it's in the end, we are always like, oh my God, it is so much more beautiful than we thought it to be. So we love that many people work together to make this happen.
Just to have an idea, for example, if you make a perfume and you decide to work with Mark Buxton, for example, how long is the briefing that he gets? Is it like some pictures or from a talk for half an hour and then just go and do your thing, or how does it work?
It's really cool because it has changed. In the beginning with Dreckig bleiben, we did a huge presentation and talked for weeks about the idea. And today it is very much that it's a telephone call and some pictures and 2-3 emails, and then he already understands totally which direction we want to go. So yeah,
fun.
we have another question coming in.
Yep.
How do you balance a unique, challenging concept for a fragrance while still keeping it wearable?
Good question. Good question. I mean, when it comes to perfume, there is a global, universal truth. It must smell nice. Full stop. If it doesn't smell good, people don't buy it and people don't wear it. But within this, it must smell good. There's a lot of space, and we know that some people like the edginess of a perfume to express their personality. So sometimes the edginess of a perfume can be quite good. Other people want to understand perfume more like a scarf, like a protection thing. So they want to have something that is not edgy, but more comforting. So we understood very early on that we have to make very different perfumes to cater to very different people. But overall, I think the question is very good, because when we talk about niche perfumes, we can use ingredients that are much more expensive than in mainstream. For the simple reason, when we make whatever 2,000 or 3,000 bottles of this perfume, if we take a super expensive ingredients, the price per bottle goes up, I don't know, let it be 10 cents. For us, that's not a big problem. We try to keep cost, of course, but we can use really, really good ingredients, because that is not changing the price that much. For a mass brand, that is impossible. If they use 3 or 4 ingredients that make the production €1 more, they cannot do it. They go for cheap ingredients. They have to. So even if we have quite challenging perfumes or perfume concepts, we still try, because of the good ingredients, it still works on skin. That is quite interesting, that even a perfume like Dreckig bleiben, so many people do say, oh, that's interesting, because usually I wouldn't wear such a perfume. It is too challenging. It is too special. But on my skin, with these wonderful ingredients, it really works.
Yeah.
So for us, to answer that question, the balance is really made through wonderful ingredients. That is really changing a perfume so dramatically. There are some wonderful experiences like Jean-Claude Helena, the big perfume maker from Hermès.
Yeah.
He did the not bad perfume Terre d'Hermès for Hermès, but he did the same perfume several years ago for another company, Frédéric Malle, with a slightly different composition. It's called Eau Brigadier Concentré. And there he can use amazing ingredients he cannot use for a relatively mainstream brand like Hermès. And the difference in quality in these two perfumes is amazing. It is really surprising how different a perfume with a relatively same ingredients list can smell dramatically different and be different on skin, have a different journey on skin. So that's really amazing when you see that good ingredients make a perfume totally different.
Okay. Maybe a question about that. If you talk about good ingredients, you also see like this trend of more botanical or natural perfumes. Is a good ingredient necessarily a natural ingredient, or is it completely rubbish?
No, I mean, we get this question all the time because, of course, people want to be more sustainable, more bio-organic. Number one, one of the big questions we all get all the time, if it's a natural perfume with natural ingredients, is it less allergic? No, because usually allergies are coming from pepper or nuts or all these natural ingredients. So sometimes it's more like that technical or artificial ingredients are less health problematic. For me, a good ingredient is usually a complex ingredient, an ingredient that has many different layers and changes over time. Sometimes you smell these very one-dimensional citrus accords and you think, well, that could be a toilet cleaner as well, or a because they're so one-dimensional. But if you use a very complex citrus accord, it is the most beautiful thing in the world. I mean, Tom Ford did a wonderful job in creating enormously rich and wonderful perfumes with orange and mandarin and all these accords. And he showed what to do with very good ingredients, how a even simple structured perfume can become one of the most or best perfumes in the world. So that's really, really, it's a lot about the ingredients and the quality. Yes.
We just had another question coming in. Do you think people buy the product because it smells nice or for the values that you stand for?
That's nice. A nice question. I hope that people will buy it for both reasons. Number one, I think I usually fall in love with a perfume first through smell. And I hope people will do that as well. But we know that people who know our brand are, of course, looking what is a new idea, what is a new concept they come with, what is the new message they want to tell the world. And if the perfume then works, we're totally happy. But once again, I mean, it is so simple, but I think it's so important to keep that in mind. A perfume must work with you. You must be happy with a perfume. It doesn't make sense to buy a perfume just because the message is interesting. I mean, Then
it's the same
follow the brand. And
if you want to look like Jennifer Lopez or whatever.
Exactly.
It doesn't smell good.
if I buy the clothes of Jennifer Lopez because I like her, it might be not the best solution. So
neither for us, I think.
Yeah. No, so yes, discover scents, perfumes through the smell. That's the most important thing. But of course, I mean, if you know that there is a brand that is super creative, stay attached to it. I mean, for me, another brand I really like is Comme des Garçons. They always do wonderful perfumes, interesting perfumes. So all the time when they bring out something new, I'm the first to smell what they do, to see that they sometimes cover or copy niche brand ideas, but why not? Okay.
Part of the game.
Yes, absolutely.
We're still the first. That's then
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a personal favorite in the range of Atelier PMP, or do you just?
No, I mean, I have a collection of 300 perfumes anyway.
Okay.
So I am changing every day, at least once the perfume I'm wearing. I'm really wearing all the time perfumes and like crazy. With perfume, with our perfumes from Atelier PMP, each one is different and special, and it is really like the question: do you like one of your childs more?
Yeah.
No, I like them all for different reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, I think it's interesting. Number one, I want to say thank you for doing things like this, for bringing out niche perfume and the art of niche perfume to the people. We know that our perfumes are sold only through fantastic people like you, because I mean, we did the most stupid thing in the world. We created perfumes that need explanations. People ask, what is that name? Why is it called like that? Which makes it difficult to sell. So we need people like you to explain to the people, why are these crazy people in Hamburg doing that? But so this is really fantastic, and I just would like to tell everybody, go to shops like Smell Stories, like other small niche boutique shops where you get the stories, because the stories are really exciting. That's really the difference to the mainstream. And it is the passion of people like Kurt and Stefan that to bring these stories alive. So that's
Thank you so much.
Possibly I have to say.
Thank you so much. I think we're about 1 hour talking, and Instagram has this rule that they then just cut us off. So maybe we could conclude. So first of all, thank you so much, Daniel. We try to bring the story in the best way, but I think these kind of live interviews are even better, because then you can hear the story and the mission behind the brand from the founder itself. So thank you very much. I would also like to say hi to Stephanie, who is not with us today, but she's also the founder. So say hi to her. Thank you also to everybody who has been following this live, and as always, we will put this live soon during the weekend, I think, on our YouTube and website, so people who have missed it can still watch it afterwards. So that's about it, I think, and then maybe another for the viewers who follow us all the time. On the 24th of September, we will have another interview with Pierre Guguin from l'Orchestre Parfum, which is a French brand based around music and musical instruments. So that's also an interesting topic, a totally different concept and a different idea, but also very interesting. So that's just for what's going on next.
Daniel wants to say
just very quickly to tell everybody who's watching it, if you have more questions, feel free to contact us either through Smell Stories or through our website, Atelier PMP, Facebook, Instagram. You can find us everywhere. We're very happy to talk even more about a certain perfume, how to wear it, I mean, we can still talk hours about perfume.
Exactly.
It's always exciting.
And it was certainly this hour.
It was very, very exciting.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Daniel,
Bye.
Bye. Bye.